Lucas. He is a professor of international politics at Birmingham University. Scott, always a pleasure having you on the show. When President Joe Biden said that the U.S. would defend Taiwan militarily, I think sort of the White House scrambled to control the damage. I mean, is this a real change in policy, or did the president go off script?
No, I think Joe Biden knew what he was doing by saying the quiet part out loud, and that the White House stage managed this. Allow me to explain. The United States is still adhering to observance of the One China policy, or at least noting it. But the One China policy is that Taiwan is linked to the Chinese mainland economically and socially, that it is not independent, and that position remains in place. What Biden was saying and putting out public, which is the quiet part, is, look, if China chooses to militarily overrun Taiwan, to effectively conquer it, it is China that is putting the One China approach at risk, and the U.S. will respond. Now, that has been the position under the Biden administration. It was not under the Trump administration, and I think Biden was serving notice of that. This has been an issue which has been elevated by two things. One is the Chinese have been provocative, have been carrying out military overflights of Taiwan earlier this year, have had very harsh statements, including talking about non-political means to enforce their position. And secondly, Russia's example with Ukraine, trying to invade that country and overrun it, has raised the stakes that others like China might do the same. So that's why Biden went ahead and made this statement.
Since you mentioned Ukraine, I do have to ask you, but when you look at the stance the United States took before the Russian invasion of Ukraine on February 24th, with them saying, all right, we're not going to send troops to defend Ukraine, do you think that Washington has learned a lesson here?
I think there's a double lesson which has come here. First of all, I think the disaster of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan and the idea that this would be read by a number of other countries, including Chinese, as U.S. weakness and a failure to stand up in future crises was one that Washington has taken on board. And secondly, yes, I think the assistance to Ukraine, we're never talking about direct intervention by U.S., European, or NATO troops, but the failure to provide significant assistance, especially by the Europeans. The United States is looking at that as well. They don't want that position repeated with China. But, and I need to add this in the context of what you're discussing about the Quad meeting more generally, this is in the context of a very positive Quad meeting that should not be overshadowed by Taiwan. India and the United States effectively set aside their tensions. They will respect each other's positions on Ukraine, and the Quad, as a result, move forward with advances on an economic bloc, a 12-nation economic bloc, and significantly, both as a positive and also positioning itself vis-a-vis China on maritime security in the East and South China Seas. I just came off Indian TV an hour ago with Indian officials and analysts who are thrilled at the way this has gone. And I think you set that alongside of Biden basically saying, well, here's our position on Taiwan as well, just so everybody's taking notice of that.
Yeah. Professor Scott Lucas, always a pleasure having you on. I do appreciate listening to your analysis. Thank you.